Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another collection and discussion video. This time on Eddie Murphy. I did a BS Cast podcast with my friend Efrey on the rise and fall of Eddie Murphy, so feel free to listen to that if you like to. But I figured I'd just show at least the movies I own of his. You know, I like collecting movies. I like to do more of that. This is a Blu-ray set I was sent a while ago. And what was nice is when I got this, based on the cover, I thought it was just the first movie. And then I missed this, the 3-movie collection, and it's all 3 movies on a separate disc, which is very nice. It's funny, they have the features from the first movie, but not from the second or third movie. And the picture quality, I mean, it's not the best, but I don't know, it didn't bother me as much as I'm sure others. And it's nice to have at least the first 2 on Blu-ray. And the third one, okay, you know, for the collection. Still a disappointing film, but love the first 2 Beverly Hills Cop films. 2 classic. Definitely 2 of my favorite Eddie Murphy flicks. Metro and Holy Man. This is a 2-disc set, thankfully separate. Metro, I think, is easily one of Eddie Murphy's most underrated films. Once again, it would be my top 10 favorite Eddie Murphy flicks. Love Metro. To me, it was the last gasp of the Eddie I miss and enjoyed. Fast-talking, R-rated, vulgar, funny. It also has some good action scenes. The supporting cast, you have Michael Wincott as the villain. You have Michael Rappaport as his new partner. I thought Thomas Carter did a pretty damn good job directing it. This is one of those flicks that came out, I think, around January, maybe February of the year it came out, 1997 or so, give or take a year. And I thought it showed some nice bits of acting from Eddie. This is just a very underrated movie, Metro. I never understood the hate for this flick and why it bombed so badly. Never understood it. Considering a lot of action movies, a lot of Eddie's later flicks, Metro to me is a damn good flick. And Holy Man for the collection, more like Holy Shit, by Sally, the guy who did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Stephen Herrick. And I think he did Critters, the first Critters. Holy Man, where this guy gets hired by Jeff Goldblum to sell stuff on this shopping network. His nickname is G. Gee, I wonder why. You also have Kelly Preston, Robert Loggia, John Cryer, music by Alan Silvestri. Just not that funny of a movie. I'm not going to say much until I talk about these movies one day in a review or rant. Next up is Terrorized. And I believe this was a DVD sent to me a while ago. In Terrorized, I have mixed feelings on it. I don't hate the film. I don't love the film. It's okay at the end of the day. I think it should have been funnier, considering the case is broken, so the disc is rattling around. But considering this cast, I mean, you have Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy, Casey Affleck, Alan Alda, Matthew Broderick, Tia Leone, Michael Pena, I mean, Judd Hirsch. I mean, the fact you have Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy, Matthew Broderick, Casey Affleck's a good actor. I like Tia Leone. Yes, it's a Brett Ratner flick. You know, I don't know if it's true or not, the things he's been accused of, director Brett Ratner, so I don't know for certain. If it's true, that's really shitty. You can find online what he's accused of. I know for a while Eddie Murphy wanted Brett Ratner to direct Beverly Hills Cop 4. I don't think there's never going to be a Beverly Hills Cop 4. There's just not. Maybe for the better. Maybe that's best. But yeah, this film, it was just sort of an okay time waster because, it was cool to see all these people together. But just, it's a good cast. I don't mind Michael Pena. And It's just not as funny as it should have been. That's really the best way to put it. It's just not as funny as it should have been. I know the original idea for this was Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Martin Lawrence, all these guys together. That would have been a much more interesting movie to look at. To see how that played out, it would have to be rated R. All those guys together, people would see it. I mean, maybe not some of them, because Martin Lawrence and Chris Rock were in films together, and they didn't. I don't think they did the best. I think Death at a Funeral was one. But to have Eddie Murphy in there, and then Chris Tucker. You figure Chris Tucker should be here. I mean, it's Brett Ratner directing. But yeah, that I would rather have seen that than what we got. These I picked up very cheaply for the collection, because I ever do a Eddie Murphy marathon. I could rant on these movies, but these are very cheap. Meet Dave, Be Fucked, Be Will. Just a lame idea. Eddie Murphy playing a spaceship, and then Eddie Murphy is one of the commanders in the spaceship. Like, who fucking dropped acid to get this fucking idea off the ground? 20th Century Fuckface, of course. I don't know. Barely remember these fucking movies. Imagine that. Whatever you imagine would be better than this fucking flick. This is a bullshit review. A hilarious go-to comedy the whole family will love. No, the whole family will hate you if you watch this fucking flick. All this is... I mean, you might as well say Liar Liar, but with a blankie. Or Clicked without the remote control. It's dad who's a workaholic, and dad and child need to know each other better. So something fantastical happens, whether it be a can't lie, or a fucking universal remote, or a fucking blankie that she can see all this stuff and helps him with stocks, or whatever the fuck his job was. We never see what she sees. Just have to assume it. Didn't think it was that funny. Jeffrey Lyons, really Eddie Murphy's best movie in years. Of course, you know it's shit because it's released by Nickelodeon. Or as I call them, Nickel and Diamond. Fucking lame movie. Fucking Blanky, man. Fucking Blanky. Eddie Murphy's worst film, Norbit. I would easily say this is his worst movie. This is a movie I can say is offensive, unfunny. Eddie really let himself go with playing all these different characters. He played an Asian guy, he plays these two. I mean, the supporting cast is wasted because you got Tandy Newton, Eddie Griffin, Terry Crews, Cuba Gooding Jr. Waste of Rick Baker's talent for the makeup effects. It's incredibly unfunny. Marlon Wayans was in this too? Holy shit. What a waste of talent. Story by Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy, and they helped this on the script too. Is that the same fucking... The same fucking director, Brian Robbins, also did this. I'll say this is better than this. That's the same much. This was a hit too. That's what pisses me off. Metro isn't a hit. But this is a fucking hit? I didn't see it in a fucking theater. Fuck that flick. One of the last decent Eddie Murphy films, Bowfinger. The two roles he played here worked well. One was this movie star. The other was this very nerdy guy who Steve Martin is a director and hires him as a stand-in. Like they secretly videotaped the movie star Eddie Murphy character, and then they get this guy to plug them in and making a movie on the fly. You also have Heather Graham, Terrence Stamp. I think Jamie Kennedy is in this as well. Written by Steve Martin, directed by Frank Oz. This is a pretty decent. I wouldn't say this is like my top 10 favorite Eddie Murphy flicks, but this was I was entertained by this. You know, I liked Bowfinger. This is a film I don't hate. I know a lot of people hate this, but I think this is a pretty decent flick. Showtime. I think it's pretty decent because actually you have the guy who directed Shanghai Noon, another film I enjoyed. And I thought these two worked well together. It was cool to see these two share screen time. You also have William Shatner, Rene Russo. Uh, I like those as well. It says here Will Smith was one of the executive producers. What? Is it the? I mean, granted, it's like 4 producers, but or executive producers. But is that the Will Smith or another guy who just happens to be named Will Smith? But you know, I liked William Shatner trying to teach him how to be like they're 2 cops put on this reality show called Showtime, and Shatner's trying to teach him TV cop stuff because he was on T.J. Hooker. You know, I thought this was an entertaining film. This film is not as bad as its reputation, in my opinion. You know, it's not great, but I think it's pretty damn decent. I've always liked this film, Showtime. Again, one of his more underrated flicks, The Distinguished Gentleman. I remember we actually saw this one time at school. I don't remember what the reason being. And it's funny because it's an R-rated movie that they showed at school. I can't remember exactly why we saw it. Maybe we saw bits of it. I can't remember. But yeah, I thought Eddie Murphy was pretty fun in this flick. He runs for Congress, and he wins as he hustles his way into a seat on the U.S. Congress. Considering how things are nowadays, I think this is a pretty funny movie for people to give another watch to. I think this movie can give you some chuckles watching today's climate. Yeah, I'm not going to go in depth on these. I'll save it for when I do reviews of separate reviews. Coming to America, I've heard they're doing a sequel. To me, it's too late to do a sequel. This is not one of my favorite Eddie Murphy films. I don't hate the film, but it would not be in my top 10. I know most people would be. The film is okay. Like Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall as these 2 characters, the leads are fine. Some of the supporting people like James Earl Jones, John Amos, the one guy, So Glow. But this is when you really got into Eddie Murphy playing different characters. This is, if not the first, definitely one of the first times, and I'm just not a fan of that kind of Eddie Murphy. I'm a fan of this kind of Eddie Murphy, which I'll get to, but I'm not a fan of playing 5, 7 different characters, Eddie Murphy. And one I forgot that I do have is Vampire in Brooklyn. I know I have Vampire in Brooklyn, but I think I forgot that because I put it in my Wes Craven set of films. But I know I have Vampire in Brooklyn. And I don't care for that film either. Well, not either, because I like this film okay as a time waster, but Vampire in Brooklyn, don't care for. But yeah, I like this okay. It's crazy this actually has a couple features. I mean, not much. The coming together of America, the costumes, many faces of Rick Baker, guy who did the music, interview from back in the day. I think this has come out on Blu-ray. Of course, Paramount. You pair of pricks. I'll get to that. Well, I'll get to it now. You'll put Trading Places and this movie on Blu-ray, but not this fucking movie. And you know, well, someone actually sent me this poster, which is what you see in the back, because it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. It's my favorite Eddie Murphy film. It's one of my favorite comedies of the 80s, one of my favorite films of the 80s. I love The Golden Child to death. I've done like 2 reviews for this movie. Almost every line of dialogue I can laugh at. laugh with. I love Eddie Murphy, just the ordinary guy in such an extraordinary situation. Only a man whose heart is pure can wield the knife, and only a man whose ass is narrow can walk down these steps. If mine's such an ass, then I shall have it. I want the knife. Let the master again. I want the knife, please. I want to get that bum that took my $100. Shut up, pal. You know, paddle. Go paddle his ass when I find him. Go paddle your ass when I find you. You hear me? Go roll your ass till it bleeds. At the beginning, when he's on TV, he's a guy who searches for lost children. The TV man, the host, keeps ignoring him to talk to this lady with this turtle named, I think, Teddy. He's like, Teddy, to kiss my ass. You know, put the camera on me, or I'll bust your ass. My sweet brother Numsy, I see you busy right now. Come back another time. Hey, bird, you see a little midget, hairy Christian midget, on a tree, floating? Was it just me? And then the phone rings. It's like, maybe that's Rod Serling. I love this movie to death. Please, in my partner, I got a couple Tic Tacs. Take as many as you want, please. They find a guy dead. It's like, I don't know, maybe he knew I was coming and he, killed himself because he was so scared. You buy that? No, I don't buy it either. Before it's like, oh, maybe he cut himself shaving. I don't know. His age is 69. I love Tibet. No, Nepal. Nepal. Viva Nepal. Viva Nepal. And when he started to the Golden Child, I was like, you take a little bit of, what was it? I think he said like Valium or something. Like, I can't remember. Take a little bit of Valium or something? You seem pretty calm, but I'm ready to, for me, I'm ready to shit all over myself. It's like in the middle of a car chase. They're being chased by, of course, Charles Dance is the villain. You got Charlotte Lewis. You have James Hahn and Victor Wan, who were both in Big Trouble in Little China, which came out the same year. Of course, I think John Carpenter was approached to do this, but then he went on and did Big Trouble in Little China. And they wanted to get the movie out first, so Big Trouble in China got out in the summer of '86. They just got out the around December of '86. Got bad reviews. It did well. The box office made 80-some million, maybe 79 million. It was a big hit, but because it wasn't as big as Beverly Hills Cop, they consider it disappointment, and people don't like it for some reason, which I don't get. So they'll put Trading Places and they'll put Coming to America on Blu-ray, but they won't put this on Blu-ray. Fuck you, Paramount. I fucking hate you. I hate your company. I hate, you're part of Nickelodeon. You fuck up with DVDs. You fuck. I hate Paramount. Fucking hate it. Let's see. Speaking of Trading Places, this film's okay, but a lot of people consider this an Eddie Murphy classic. There's some funny bits, but again, I just think it's okay. Like, I enjoy 48 Hours, Another 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, Metro, Golden Child, more than Trading Places. I probably even like Showtime more than Trading Places. I don't know, just Dan Aykroyd is okay, but it's not like I'm a big fan of him in the movie. When it deals with the stocks, I get fucking lost because I don't give a shit about the stock market. It's all Greek to me. Jamie Lee Curtis shows some nudity, cool. So, I like it. I just don't love it. Like a lot of people do, but I liked it. Definitely better than this movie. Which, this was a Dudley Moore film. They couldn't fucking sell it. So they paid Eddie Murphy a shitload of money to come in and film a couple scenes, splice them into the movie. And you can find online, there's a picture with these two in the same frame together that was supposed to end the movie. And for some reason, they cut it out. I don't get why, because it does feel like two separate fucking movies, because it kind of was. It was a Dudley Moore movie that was shitty, and then they found him a couple, decently funny Eddie Murphy bits. They're never on screen together. there was a scene filmed. They cut it out. I don't know why the fuck they would cut out. This fucking stupid. Don't even have that on the feature. But yeah, the W. I mean, it's Eddie Murphy fucked around with some guys in a tank. I don't know. His scenes. You're lucky if it's 10 minutes long or 15 minutes long in this 90-minute movie. I can't remember exactly how long. It was written by the same people who made Howard the Duck. They also helped write Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, so there's that. But yeah, speaking of Temple of Doom, Kate Capshaw is in the flick as well. So yeah, it's a pretty bad movie. And you know, I already mentioned these, but you know, Beverly Hills Cop is a classic. These are like DVD versions. These have the features, so I'm keeping them. Beverly Hills Cop 2, great sequel, one of my favorite Tony Scott films. Love Tony Scott, miss Tony Scott. The very disappointing Beverly Hills Cop 3. I know there's written interviews with John Landis saying that he wanted Eddie to be funny, but Eddie wanted to be more serious. He was influenced by folks like Wesley Snipes and such, because like Passenger 57. And, um, didn't Denzel come out with... No, Crimson Tide was after this. I think that was 95 or so, but maybe like the Pelican Brief or something he saw. I don't know. Like Eddie wanted to be more serious, and that worked well in Metro. That did not work well in this. And of course, well, I have one more. Harlem Nights. This is one I wanted to give another watch. I just wish that you got these two together for a modern day setting. Not like it's Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood. They get together in a movie, and it's in a movie that takes place in the 30s. I'm not interested in the 30s. I'm sorry. Oh, you get these two together. And Eddie Murphy directed it, and he wrote it, so it's his fault. This has some funny bits in it. I watched it again like a year or two ago. No, I think it was less than that. But it feels long, and I don't know. It is cool to see Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Red Fox in the movie together. You also have Arsenio Hall and others. Dede Aiello. So there's some decent bits in this, but overall, like Richard Pryor, he doesn't get to show much of his funny bone in it, and at least that's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like at times he had to be more of the serious guy, and I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff to that movie that bugs me. I mean, it's not Eddie Murphy's worst. And that's another one I fucking forgot. I have Adventures of Pluto Nash on DVD. That's one of his worst. I do have that. I just completely forgot I had it. You know what? There's actually more I forgot. I might as well just get them. Fuck it. I'll be right back. Might as well. Here we go. Yeah, I figure we might as well. I mean, the other one I had here was 48 Hours, and another 48 Hours. I don't even know if these are even on fucking Blu-ray. And, you know, no features. I know no release has features. 48 Hours is a classic. Why doesn't Paramount do that? How about Paramount do both these movies? I know, I think quite a few people told me about all the deleted stuff from the sequel. Another 48 Hours. That a lot of stuff got cut out. Pretty much the entire Brian James, like, entire role got cut out, pretty much. There's a lot of stuff cut out. I'm sure Jack Craven and such will write down below and mention that. I think he did when we talked about the rise and fall of Eddie Murphy. I think he wrote in the comments. But yeah, 48 Hours I love. And the sequel I like. It's just they try to copy too much of the first one. But, you know, I still enjoy it. And the first one, it's easily my top 5 favorite Eddie Murphy films. I love 48 Hours. Adventures of Pluto Nash. Ron Underwood, pretty much, I mean, I know he directed a couple stuff after this, but really this killed his career. Just Tremors, I love. City Slickers, I love. This one of the biggest bombs. This had jokes where like Hillary Clinton money. Although it's funny, if she would have won, then that joke would have maybe made sense. But Randy Quaid as the Robo Bodyguard I found annoying. I like Rosario Dawson, Eddie Murphy, and the twist that it's his clone. Where the fuck am I? What? Jay Moore, Joe Pantoliano, Luis Guzman, Peter Boyle, Pam Grier. So yes, some nice supporting cast, but the writing was Neil Cuthbert, or maybe there was rewriting, Schiller rewriting, but the writing just isn't that funny on this movie. I think at the end of the day, it's a comedy that I didn't find that funny. And yeah, Randy Quaid I just found very annoying. So I just, yeah, very weak Eddie Murphy flick, in my opinion. And I mentioned this, Vampire in Brooklyn, not too great, not too good at all. Disappointment, considered as a Wes Craven flick. In a weird way, kind of like John Carpenter when he did Memoirs of Invisible Man. They worked with a comedian who wants to be more of a serious actor. And I would say Memoirs of Invisible Man was even better than this movie. The Haunted Mansion, lame fucking flick. Should have been more like The Golden Child and less shitty. You got Dr. Dolittle and Dr. Dolittle 2. Then these are ones I found. They're like $1 each. So for the collection. I'm not a big Dr. Dolittle guy. I'll probably watch them over the Night Professors, which... Actually, I don't have those movies. I'm not a big fan of those, but... I'll probably say I like these more than those, but I'm not a big fan of Dr. Dolittle. Dead Daycare, for some reason, I didn't mind. I don't know, for some reason... This didn't bother me for his family films. I don't know. I thought Eddie Murphy himself and the kid who played his son, I don't know, they just had some nice chemistry with each other. I don't know, it just wasn't as bad as the others. Maybe I'll watch it again, I can pontificate on that more. I Spy, buddy movie he did with Owen Wilson. Not as good as Showtime. I know friends I may, like Effrey, he hates the movie. I think it's okay. Time waster. But I don't love it. Showtime I enjoy. I Spy, I've seen worse. I've seen much better, though. So yeah, I know there's quite a few I don't have of his. What was it? I mentioned Boomerang. I haven't seen that in forever, so I can't give much thoughts of it. I don't have it, that's why I didn't show it. Boomerang. There's another one I mentioned, I fucking forgot about. Oh, the Night Professor films. Mr. Church, I think, was like 1,000 Words. I saw it for free, thankfully, but I don't have the film. But yeah, that's a pretty lame fucking flick. That's one that's even more like Liar Liar Click than fucking, you know, imagine that. But anyway, you know, if I had like top 10 Eddie Murphy films, Golden Child's #1. Beverly Hills Cop 48 Hours, I'm not sure which I like better, but those would definitely be up there. Metro, I think, for me, it's up there. After that, I would put like another 48 Hours on that list. Distinguished Gentleman, I would put in my top 10. Definitely would. But I mean, I know in my top 5, it would be The Golden Child, either Beverly Hills Cop. Well, Beverly Hills Cop 2's got to be in the top 5 as well. So I would say The Golden Child, 48 Hours. That's tough. Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, 48 Hours. Those are the top 4. And I'll probably put Metro in the top 5. So yeah, Golden Child, the first 2 Beverly Hills Cops, 48 Hours, and the Metro would be in the top 5. But if I did a top 10, I know like Distinguished Gentleman would be on there. Honestly, I think for me, Showtime would be on there. I have to think about the rest of the list. But anyway, that's my collection on the Eddie Murphy stuff. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.